Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. My name is Chord Dave. This is Chord Dave Live, number 130. That's right, we've done 129 of these before tonight. And this is the 130th. So yeah, we got a San Miguel glass with some alcoholic beverages in it, and it's 10 p.m. Irish time, which means wherever you are in the world, whatever you're doing, whatever you're drinking, whether it be tea, beer, coffee, Coke, water, whatever, sláinte, my friend. Yeah, it's been a week of stuff happening. I'm sure we'll talk about it and all kinds of things. You can give me any questions and stuff like that if you've got any. I'm sure you by now you'll have all seen the video explaining why I'm not buying Rory Gallagher's guitar. I'm not starting a crowdfunding campaign um, to do so. I felt I was very honest in why I'm not doing so. Some people did not think so. Did not approve of me saying that I would buy the guitar and sell it, which is the whole reason I'm not doing it. Anyways, I don't care. Thanks to everyone who did watch and leave a nice comment and who defended my reasoning for not buying the guitar. It's just weird. You can't do anything on YouTube without being criticized. It's funny. But thanks to all you guys who are in the comments. I appreciate it. And it was pointed out to me by several people that I have probably the best audience on YouTube for doing so. So thank you to each and every one of you. You're the best. So let's get into it. We talk about guitars. We can talk about Youngblood's SG signature model if you want. I honestly have no clue about Youngblood. I don't know his music or anything like that, but he plays SGs, so I think that's pretty cool. And what else? Did you guys see the story about the dude who apparently found a 1955 Les Paul gold top in a bin in like a dumpster? We can talk about that as well, whatever you want. Anyways, you know, it's YouTube. Let's just talk about whatever. It's Saturday. Thanks so much to Scott Bogfoot, who was the first in the chat, as he always is. And we still haven't figured out how he is always the first, but we appreciate it, Scott. Thank you so much, Sarah, for all that you do. And let's dig in. Oh, there was something. Yeah. Just to add a little bit of spice to tonight's chat, in the Rory Gallagher video, I slipped in the names of a certain number of Rory songs. I have it in my Reverb notebook here, which I got from Reverb at NAMM last year. And I have a total number of songs that I was inserting in intentionally. There might have been one or two that went in unintentionally, but I have a total number just for fun. See if you can guess, or maybe you counted them. I don't know, because I'm sure you figured out what I was doing at some point, some of you. So any guesses for how many Rory Gallagher songs titles I slipped into that video? The first person to get it right wins my admiration. Formerly known as T was here as well, nice and early. He says the Chelsea Celtic game kicking off. Number one, T, is Chelsea Celtic. Would you really want to watch that? Number two, it's only pre-season. Get a grip. And number three, thanks for joining us. I appreciate you, man. Rob F is here as well. Says hello, friends. Just finished feeding the children of the corn and have the rest of the afternoon or evening to myself. Yes, beautiful wife is away. Hey Rob, having the afternoon and evening to yourself is good too, though. You gotta need some downtime. You need some me time from time to time. Victor says, "Don't feed those children, Rob. They will never leave." Awesome. Yeah, you know, I'm sure you can get them to leave. It's all good. Why is YouTube being a jerk? Anyways, not even if you if you plant beans. Apparently so, yeah. Even if they grow up and move out, they never leave. I mean, it's a dangerous game to be playing, whether they will leave or not. Scott Bogfoot says, working on my house all week, ready to go back to work for someone else now. Yeah, those jobs, man, they're always is a pain in the ass, but hey, they got to be done too. And unfortunately, our good friend Muddy H2O was doing some house remodeling this week. And it's his own fault. Sucker. Anyways, he does not enjoy that. He enjoys it, just not much. Rob F says, that's where our beautiful wife is, working on our house. We flipped a coin and I lost. She got to work on the house. I got our 3 kids at a vacation house. I mean, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah. I'm just gonna hold back my comments as to why none of my exes ever wanted to do that kind of work. Anyway, it's all good. Formerly known as T says, "Hey Rob, all good. This end. An old friend moved back to the neighborhood, giving him a hand painting the place. Oh, giving him a hand painting the place. There you go. Good man, T. Yeah, spreading the love. I like it. I think you may have missed the typo of feeding the children of the Chord. Um, feeding, reading. It's all good. Um, very cool, T. Nothing like reconnecting with old friends. Ah, no, some of my old friends are jerks. Some of my current friends as well, but hey, it's all good. Richard Virginia's here. Great to see you. Says, hey everyone, I'm off to band practice. I have to sit this one out. Have a great episode, Dave. Have a great band practice, Richard. Hope you have fun. I'm sure you will. And let me see. Rob F says, right now, the grown-up kids are much more in trouble and drama than the younger three ones that live with us. Grown-ups are the worst, man. Let me see what else have we got. DMAC is here. Great to see you, DMAC. Nice and early. It's always great to see you. Says happy Saturday night. Yeah, Saturday night it is indeed, and it was a good day, nice day. So yeah, nice weather-wise and stuff. Matt von Bosch is here. Great to see you, Matt. I hope you are well, my friend. It's always good to have you in the chat with us. Scott Bogford says, my house is an 85-year-old wooden window box manufacturing plant converted into a haunted mansion. The only problem is it was entirely built out of trash by non-carpenters who didn't care. Yep, those are the best houses. I like that it's a haunted mansion. That's awesome. The time to worry is when your kid starts off a conversation with, I love you, says Rawaf. I'm sure there are better ways to start, but there we go. Let me see what else we got. Hate this laptop's keyboard. The only thing is better than my phone. Rob, hey man, it's you'll get through it. It'll be fine. I hope. Scott Bogwood says there's hundreds of pounds of bones in my attic. Don't be alarmed. They're whale bones. My ghost is not a whale, but goddamn, a whale ghost wingman would be awesome. There's not a whole lot of guitar chat going on, guys. What's happening here? This is basically usually it's one of two things. It's a guitar channel. Just to remind you guys, it's a guitar channel and a Steel Panther fan club. Those two things will never change. They may be added to, but they'll never change. Although no, maybe like tune in next week for 3 Chord Dave cooking classes, where I teach you how to make cheese sandwiches. Good. DMAC says, I played my first Harley Benton today, a Les Paul copy, custom light, I think it was called, used but in great shape at Long and McQuaid. 250 Canadian dollars. Played nicely. Nice, DMAC. Yeah, they have a range of Les Paul style guitars, say single cut style guitars. They have a good few different ones. They have one that's, I think it's a SC2 or something. Or is it SC550? It's a really nice guitar. My brother has one, but I don't show it on the channel too often because it's a black guitar, and you know how I feel about black and white guitars. But yeah, nice slim body, nice. It's basically a Gibson, what's it called? Les Paul Modern Light. It's very similar to that. So yeah, but Harley Benton makes some very nice guitars. As you know, I have some issues with Thomann right now, so I'm not going to really big them up, but they do make some nice guitars. They used to make shit guitars. Now I'm going way back with Thomann. Back in the first time I bought one, 2010, shit guitar, absolutely fucking awful. Bought it as a prop for a film I was making. Terrible guitar. Weighed about 19 pounds. Maybe it was like 12 pounds, but still it felt super heavy. And it was just awful. It was just awful. But they have gotten really good, in fairness, over the last few years. And the last few I've had have been phenomenal. And surprisingly at the cheaper level. I'm not bigging them up because I'm pissed off with Thomann, but I'm sure we'll talk about them at some point. Rob, so the former residents of your house were whalers, says Rob. Scott Bugfoot, I think, is living in whaler country. T says, Scott, at least you'll never be alone. Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to be though? Rob says, I know lots of people are happy with their Harley Bentons, but I've always been a bit leery of house brand instruments. Interesting, Rob. Yeah. So look, what I know about Harley Benton is pretty much that they're essentially an independent guitar brand that only sells to Thomann. So they have some autonomy as to what they do and so forth. Whether that's true or not, I'm not 100%, but that's kind of the information I was given. It's probably outdated at this point. It was a few years ago, maybe 2, 3 years ago, when I was told that. They're basically an independent guitar brand that just have an exclusive deal with Thomann. Um, so, like, if Thomann decided we don't want to deal with Harley Bentons anymore, they'd be their own company and they'd just sell Harley Bentons everywhere. But I don't see it happening anytime soon because they're incredibly successful with that partnership. I don't know if it's true, by the way. That's just kind of how it was explained to me. So, massive disclaimer. I don't know if that's true. That's just, I was told. And I wasn't told by somebody who works at Thomann or at Harley Benton. It was somebody who kind of, let's say, knows a good bit of about the guitar business. That's what I would say. Um, but anyway, well, I always thought, hey, Thomann are making all these guitars, so that's probably what I still lean towards. But that is what I was told. There, it's its own company, and it's possible that it's its own company, but it's owned by Thomann as well. So I'm not really ssure. But hey, they're making good guitars lately. So anyway, as I said, I'm not going to talk nicely about them. DMAX says, Rob, I hear you. The Harley Benton I saw would be a solid entry level guitar, but I still preferred the Epi Les Pauls I played. That's nothing wrong with that. I think in that price range, I think in the budget price range, there's just so much competition right now, and it's good for guitar players because there's you can pick up really great guitars without spending a whole lot of money. It wasn't always the case, as we know. Scott Bogford says, when the Gosling Library and Museum closed down, my dad either bought or stole everything that wasn't carried over to the new university library. I had a microfiche machine when I was a kid. Hey, there you go. I mean, hey, it's all there. It's all there. Uh, William Paris is here. Great to see you, William. I hope you're well, my friend. Thanks for joining us. And Rob F says, the other thing that concerns me about Harley Benton is that I hear they do not keep good records, provenance of where their wood comes from. Um, I see you have a follow up comment that says US companies like PRS, Fender, Gibson have to keep records to keep US authorities happy, even for their Asian import guitars. Rob, I don't know. I don't know specifically about this. It's probably worth digging in, but I will tell you that the EU is very strict on such things, and Germany is one of the strictest countries when it comes to EU regulations. We're all supposed to be as strict as each other in Europe, but it's not true. so, so yeah, I mean, look, the European Union has specific rules about everything, down to how food can be produced, what can and can't be put into foods and stuff like that, what kind of woods can be used, what kind of woods can be imported, and they are very, very strict. I mean, there are massive fines for company who break any kind of EU regulations in those areas, and it's good because it means we know our food is safe. We know that no kind of stuff can be imported into the EU without, that's going to cause trouble to native species of woods and stuff like that, and plants life and stuff like that. So yeah, they're very strict on things like that. I'd imagine they do have to keep records. Maybe they weren't so good at it in the past. I don't know, but I mean, I would be very surprised if they don't have good records of it because it would be quite illegal and they would be fined up the wazoo, as they say. Um, yeah, and with Thomann being such a massive company in Germany as well, it'd be very, very surprising to me. But hey, I'm not saying you're wrong. And just if that is the case, they would probably be put out of business quite quickly. Um, Let me see. Where are we now? Because all the comments just dumped in on top of me again because YouTube is a jerk. Uh, where are we now? Oh, Marsha. Did I say Marsha's comments? I don't know. Marsha's here anyway. Hey, Dave and dudes. Good to see you, Marsha. And don't forget the dudettes. Are we still? Is that still a word we can use? I don't know. Anyways, I hope you're doing well, Marsha. I think I missed your comment there earlier, first time around. But here we go. Yes. Da, da, da. So where are we now? Could someone just throw in the time right now into the chat just to make sure that when I get there, I know we're still trucking along at a decent pace because we were quite slow last week. There wasn't a whole lot of chatting, whereas the week before it was way too fast and I didn't catch up with it. So someone wants to throw in the chat the exact time now, 22:17. That'd be great. Anyways, Al Adelson is here. Great to see you, Al. Hope you're doing well. You're saying hello to a few of the guys, and Eric Ludinger is here as well. Great to see you, Eric. Also, Matt van Bosch says, "I've a 5 liter mini keg of Budweiser on the go, so I'm grand." Well, that's cool. That's the Czech beer, is it? I think. But yeah, nice stuff, man. Nice stuff. If I could, the only I never see mini kegs when I want to pick one up, but who knows? Maybe soon. I should have something to celebrate soon. So, with new business getting off the ground, hopefully. Still unemployed, technically. Still don't have a job to go to tomorrow, but it's all good. We'll survive. We get through it. By the way, by the way, if somebody is looking for what do you call it? A campaign to donate to buy Rory Gallagher's guitar. There is a link in the description. It's not me. I meant to say this earlier at the start of the thing. It's nothing to do with me. I have no affiliation with it whatsoever. But Rory's guitar should come back to Ireland and, in my opinion, go back to Cork. There's a link in the description. I'm going to leave it in the description of all my videos. What do you call it? All my videos. Yeah, and we're going to do it. I know some people were not happy about mentioning a crowdfunding campaign, but hey, man, this is the world we live in. Some people are trying to do some stuff that is cool for people. Nobody's asking for money to live off or anything like that. So if you're inclined, hit the whatchamacallit, hit the link below and you can find out more about it. There's also, I think I left the link for Rory's, the rorygallagher.com webpage where you can find out all about his guitar and the history and all the tweaks and stuff that he made. I meant to say that earlier in the show and it just popped into my head, so I thought I'd say it now. Anyways, formerly known as T says, the cockroach is just bolted, the bearded one approaches. Oh, cool. So we're just starting off to the show at that point. Thanks, T. I appreciate you, man. Matt Van Bosch says, so what are your thoughts on the Epiphone Youngblood SG? SGs do look great in white. That price for a single pickup guitar, Gibson pickup, should have been included, I would say. I have many thoughts on it because I think the SG Junior is a great guitar, very undervalued, underrated guitar. I have been made aware of the existence of an artist called Youngblood. I have never knowingly listened to his music, so I don't know if he's good or bad or terrible or wonderful. So I don't know. But the dude plays an SG Junior, so I'm happy with that. And I think it's one of those things. I think young folks will pick up guitar because of this dude playing SGs, so they'll pick up his SG if they can. I believe this one's very limited though, right? It's only like 600 or something. Somebody, I think I've had a few emails about this, so bear with me. Stuart, was it? Yes, Stuart, member of the 3-Chord Dave community. I'm not going to give out any further details, Stuart, but just Stuart emailed me and said he picked one up and he wasn't super impressed with it. So, yeah, I'd love to know more about that, but I only saw that email just before we went live as well. Thoughts on it? I think it's cool that there's an SG signature model out there that's going to attract younger folks to pick up SGs. Do I think Youngblood is a great artist? I have no idea. I'm sure he's great. Does anyone listen to him? I don't know. Is he good? But I don't know anything about him. I think it's good that people can pick up. Well, how much is that guitar going for? $6.99? $5.99? I think for a Gibson pickup, I don't think they're ever going to do that under $9.99 again. So that'd be unlikely. I also saw somebody on Epiphone's announcement video saying, I thought all the new Epiphones are going to have the Gibson style headstock. Let's just clear that up. No, all the expensive Epiphones are going to have the Gibson headstock. All of the regular ones are going to have the Kalamazoo headstock, which is absolutely fine. In my book, both of those are really good headstocks for Epiphone to have. And yeah, I think it's good that maybe they're splitting a thing. Part of me is kind of sad though, the more I think about it, that they didn't revive something like an Orville or something like that for their more expensive Epiphones, but like the brand name on them. But hey, it's all good. Just would have been a differentiator to people. So you can see the people are starting to confuse. Like, why doesn't this have the new Gibson headstocks? Because that's only for premium Epiphones now. So anyway, I'll get into that another time maybe. But yeah, there. This is. I think this was kind of obvious. It was going to happen. It's causing confusion in the market, and people who are not on top of it, who don't go to guitar live streams every week like you and I, who don't stick on guitar YouTube when they've got nothing else better to do, and who don't follow the right channels. They don't know what's going on. They don't know. They just assume, oh, that Epiphone has a Gibson style headstock, so all of them are going to. You gotta stick with the right creators, and me maybe hopefully, um, Colin from Guitaristas, of course, Steve Cassidy guitar, Dunsi's Guitar World, Mike upstairs to the right, all the guys who we've talked about a lot, and some others as well. It's important to keep on top, which reminds me, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't. DMAC anyway says, Rob, yeah, that's a good point. To put the type of materials on those Harley Bentons for those prices, it makes you wonder, for sure. Bear in mind how much material they're buying. They're one of the bigger guitar companies in the world in terms of output. They're thousands and thousands and thousands of guitars every year. But hey, it's probably worth diving in. Maybe KDH can do one of those deep dive videos to find out for us, because he's good at those kind of things, and I'm not. So he's the man to do that, I think. Rob F says, sounds very good, Matt Van Bosch. I'm sipping away on some Irish whiskey. Irish whiskey is one of those things that has to be enjoyed from time to time. I haven't got any here. I have some in the kitchen, but not here. But just launch it to Rob on his Irish whiskey. Drippy glass, damn it. All right. Makeshift coaster. Right. Scott Bogwood says, anyone new here, welcome. You will need to subscribe and wait 1 minute before you can chat in the best chat on YouTube. Yeah, this one, that's what he's referring to. So it's all good. But yeah, make sure you're subscribed and chat to us. If it's your first 3 Chord Dave live experience after 130 shows, make sure you do say hello to us. Because most of the people here don't bite unless you ask them nicely. And some of them, unless you ask them not nicely. So, but yeah, say hello to us. It's all good. Tell us what your favorite guitar in the history of the world is and why it's an SG. Marcia says, the Young Blood is the same guitar as a certain member of Green Day. So, and with another different case, not sure what's so special about it. Billy Joe's guitar was a Les Paul Jr., was it not? I don't think it was an SG Jr., but same family, same idea. It is why I mean, it's, at least this one, it's based off his actual guitar, right? I could be wrong. I haven't ever associated Billy Joe with an SG Jr., but Les Paul Jr., absolutely. DMAC says, just saw Youngblood guitar on Guitar Geek today. What are they going for? It's either $5.99 or $6.99. I'm sure someone's gonna let us know in the comments there. Marcia says, why did I say another difference just now? And nobody knows, Marcia. Maybe it's just all getting to you too much. I don't know. Rob says, DMAC, a friend of a friend sources wood for some of the big US companies. He doesn't have anything good to say about Harley Benson's practices. That's interesting. That's interesting. I'd like to know what he does have to say. Yeah, so let's see what we got. Scott Bugfoot. Matt, I think it's awesome. Kinda want an ebony black version. I think the white paint has a red primer that shows through, and could just be the case though. And then Dave. Scott, you know what? Those are both of the colors that I would not choose. But hey, if it makes you happy, man, I'm happy. For you. 130. Woo! Says Barsha. Thanks, Barsha. Pretty sure you were at number 1. Or maybe number 2. You were very early in the 3 Chord Dave live situation, so thank you for that. But yeah, 130. If you've been at every 3 Chord Dave live show, you have now spent 130 of your Saturdays hanging out with me, which is really cool. I think we're getting to the 3 year mark of doing live streams every Saturday, which is crazy to me. But here we go. We're still here. Um, yeah, and we picked up a few cool people along the way. Prost Dave says, Rob, I don't do pronunciations well, but prost to you, Rob. Hope you're enjoying that whiskey, man. Atvel says, I'm going to an open day at uni today, checking out the venue and the basketball court. That's actually what I checked when I went to VU universities too. And then I didn't go to any of them. So uh, it's a long story. It's just got corrupted along the way over the summer. Decided I didn't want to go to England when I was 17. Anyways, you don't make good life choices when you're 17. Matt Van Bosch says, Scott Bugwood, I like it too, and it doesn't have any signature logo, stickers, branding on it, which is always a plus. Um, I'll be honest with you, I haven't looked at the Youngblood guitar enough to know the specs, all the details, all that sort of stuff. You'll notice I didn't do a video about it. Here's the truth. I think it looks pretty boring, so I wasn't super excited about it. But it's one of those. I think it's a cool enough guitar that, and if young, I don't know if Youngblood is a big artist these days because I don't really pay that much attention to new music. Who cares? But if if that guitar is going to make a load of kids pick up the guitar, I'm very excited for it. Scott Bogwood says, I wonder what the route is under the plate on the SG Junior. I wouldn't say it's that spectacular compared to other ones. So again, I don't know. I'm sure our good friend the Trogmeister will have one at some point, so we'll find out everything about it. Mar says, wait, we have another 50s Gibson LP find. I only heard about the guy who got a phenomenal deal last week. Now we get a free 50s dumpster find. So yeah, this actually popped up on a Facebook group, and I didn't actually record which one it was, but the dude had photographs, he had everything. He was basically asking, I found this in a dumpster, does it look real? And everyone was looking at it going, it's fucking real. Now, there's always confusion with Gibson serial numbers. For some reason, people can't look up the Gibson website and how to decipher a Gibson serial number. And then when they do, in another, or maybe the same Gibson Les Paul Facebook group, there was several discussions this week about, is this a real 60s Les Paul? And people put the serial number into the serial decoder website and came up with that it was a 1965 Les Paul. Now, you are all smart people who know stuff about guitars, so you will know that Gibson did not make Les Pauls in 1965. But there was a lot of people going, you got a 1965. This is a 1965 guitar. People saying otherwise are wrong. It's a 1965. Don't be an expert unless you know. Okay, don't be giving people information unless you know. But anyways, getting back to it. I should point out this is why this group that I saw this in is very unreliable. People don't know simple things, like there was no Les Pauls made until 1968, after 1961. Anyways, dude posts that he found this guitar in a dumpster, some US city, not sure which one, and yeah, it looks 100% real. Like, everything's right. There's no pickups, or I think there was pots, but there was no pickups. They'd apparently been ripped out pretty harshly. I haven't gone back to check on it yet, if anyone's found a reason as to why it was in the dumpster or what happened. But yeah, apparently a 1955 Les Paul just found in a dumpster for free. Why is there no dumpsters like that around my house? Too much to ask for free 1950s Les Paul? Apparently so. Michael Blaney says, any bass that I bought that was a special edition kept me from using it or modifying it the way I would want. Hey Michael, great to have you with us. You know what? I would say it's probably the best thing, keep it like that. I would also say the words special edition and custom edition and um, just custom in general. In the guitar world, usually mean not a whole lot. So I would say, and the other thing is, if you want to do mods like change pickups or change a bridge or something like that, just go ahead and do it. And just put it, if you ever want to sell it, make sure you can reverse the mods and keep all the original parts. And it'll all be good. But anyways, it's yeah, it's a weird thing, the whole special edition thing in the guitar world. It usually doesn't actually mean special edition or limited or whatever. Limited edition's the other one. And people give out about it from time to time, but yeah, you can never actually rely on the special editions. Now in basses it may be different, but with six strings, I just ignore the fact if they say special edition or limited edition or whatever, because usually they're not. Anyway, Richard Clark says 7. Eric Ludinger says the answer is 4. And DMAX says I'll guess 6. You guys are way off. So yeah, way more. I shouldn't actually have said that. So there you go. So anyways, yeah, more Rory's songs, guesses, how many were in that video. If you didn't count them up, you should know me by now. Disappointed in you guys with your low ball estimates. The sent one is here. Great to see you. Hope you're doing well, my friend. T says you'll be happy to hear that I turned the game off at halftime and put you up on the big screen, buddy. Thanks, man. I love being on big screens. It's where I was born to be. Glenn Bailey is here. Says hello all, and you know what? I'm still gonna give a shout out to Glenn Bailey because we love him and he's great. And congratulations on your milestone this week, Glenn. I'm not going to tell you what anyone else about it, but I just want you to say. I just want to tell you, congratulations. It's awesome. Anyways, formerly known as C says, Chelsea were 2-0 down. I'm not surprised. Celtic are world beaters. And they did beat Man City. Also, it's preseason, and preseason doesn't matter. Where are we now? Duff Book is now hidden due to the comments. Yeah, it's accidental. I reposition the camera every week because it's always the little movable tripod it's on is a pain in the ass. So I usually just fold it down after the show and put it in a box. But if you want to see the Duff Book, it's there. There you go. You can see it. Yeah. There we go. Just because so Scott Bugfoot can now say it says but it doesn't. Refreshing the YouTube screen repeatedly, starting an hour before Dave time, waiting for him to open the chat, and then jumping in quickly is the only way to beat Scott. I think I succeeded once. Yeah, and is that really worth it? Is it? No. Scott's he's always there, which is impressive. Marsh says Dave just whomped. My no, he's my buddy. I love him. I just like laughing at his pain, and as he likes laughing at mine. So it's we're pals. We're pals. It's all good. Sooner or later we'll be neighbors. If things work out. Which next week I'm putting out a video, crowdfunding for enough money to buy a house next door to Muddy's. Although I don't know if I can raise $74. Yeah, that's how much it costs to live in that part of the States, I think. Anyways, that's how much it costs to live next to Muddy H2O. Massively reduced price because of the neighbors. Just kidding, I do love them. Glenn says the Duff Book is tucked under Dave's beard. He likes to keep it close to his heart. I do like to keep it close to my heart, man, because Duff is one of my musical heroes. Like high on the list. Despite the fact, and I know I'm going to upset some people, despite the fact he's a bass player. He also plays real guitar, so just not in his biggest band, but biggest couple of bands. Buglips is here. He says, hi everybody. Good to see you, Buglips. Hope you're well, man. Hope all's good with you. I'm sure you're rocking. Richard Clark says Scott must have been macro running that alerts him. Have a macro running that alerts him when it opens. Maybe. Sometimes I will I'll open the chat and like put the live stream up, and I'll sit there waiting to see how long it takes Scott Bogfoot to comment. It's 9 times out of 10, less than 10 seconds. It's impossible I couldn't do that if I wanted to. Anyways, he's a superhuman. Mar says, I'm glad it wasn't me who went off topic today yet. I mean, hey, every conversation I have goes off topic at some point. PKGJ1 says, a new guitar day, Schecter, Nick Johnson. 4.99 musician friends, sick deal of the day, $400 off. Nice one, man. It's very cool. Yeah, absolutely. Good stuff. And welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. Um, nice deal. Nice deal. Those musician friends, sick deal of the day. I'm super jealous of. They always have some pretty decent stuff on it, from what I can tell, guitar wise. And I can't buy them from here. I can, but then I'd have to put on shipping costs and then import costs, and probably it's not that much of a saving by the time I do that. Glenn says, oh, speaking of cooking, BRB pasta's done. BRB pasta is one of my favorites. Michael Blaney says, is it a lightly drinking channel too? It's at the moment it's mostly a talking gets preference over drinking, but I guess, yeah, if that makes you feel good, we can call it that too. But one of these days, what's going to happen on the channel is there will be too many people. Like, let's see, how many people we got in the chat here right now? We have concurrent viewers, only 29, which is actually quite low. We usually have somewhere around 35, 40. We've had as high as 60, I think, in the chat. Yeah, it usually happens just when we're doing a giveaway or something. But we'd get a lot of people in, and it becomes impossible to read all the comments. So what will eventually happen, for all of you who would like me to drink faster, what will happen is the channel will be big enough that so many people are coming to the live stream, so many people will be commenting on it, that I won't be able to read every comment in the chat. When that happens, I'll just drink more and read the ones that are interesting, or that are super chatted, or that are whatever membership purchases or whatever is going on there. So yeah, I mean, look, if you want me to drink more, get more people subscribe to the channel and come to the live stream, and then I'm sure I'll be drinking a lot more. But until then, it's a lightly drinking channel. Absolutely. T says, I thought you were going to say, I'll show you how to make a whalebone soup. No, I'll look up the recipe. But thanks, T. No. Matt Von Bosch says to PKGJ1, that is a great deal. How is the guitar? Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing that for sure. DMAC says, I've been really liking the Squire Affinities I've played lately, Tellys and Strats, really digging the necks on them. I like a lot of what Squire's done over the last 4 or 5 years. I think they've made some really interesting guitars. And the three that have passed through my hands have been really, really good guitars. Richard Clark says, I'm cooking 2 lettuce and tomato sandwiches for me and bacon for the cats. I mean, I'm just going to say bacon's great. So I don't disapprove of anyone's choices, but I'll take the bacon. Robert says, I'm under the impression that Thomann and HB are one and the same. I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm just, information was given to me was that, like, basically it's run as an independent company. Whether that's true or false, I don't know. That is, it was 2 or 3 years ago, and I was chatting to someone, and we were talking about Harley Bentons, and I was like, well, like, Thomann make them, and he was like, well, just to correct you, it's an independent company that is exclusive to Thomann. So, and those kind of deals do happen. Obviously that would mean Thomann is very influential, and I don't know for sure. I absolutely don't know, but that's somebody who knows a good bit about guitar. Let's say, I'll say this, has told me a few stories that I've made videos about that has been way ahead of everyone else. He's also told me a few stories that I've made videos about that were complete and utter bullshit, but we didn't know until like much later down the road. so yeah, he's a good dude, but that was his impression as someone who's maybe a bit closer to the industry, say, than I. And yeah, but I'm like, my impression up until that point had always been that basically Thomann makes guitars and they slap the Harley Benton brand name. I know they're run as an exclusive to Thomann business. What the actual ownership structure of it is, I don't know. I'm sure Thomann own it, like potentially, like they own 49%, and then the Guitar Factory owns 51%, something like that, to make it look like it's not a Thomann officially owned company or something. But what I have heard is that they're run independently. Like it's like the people who work for Thomann or work for Harley Benton, they may work in the same building as Thomann, but it's essentially a separate company. Like Thomann, um, like those people only work for Harley Benton. They don't work for Thomann as well. Uh, Kind of like a, what would it be, like a side business or something. Anyways, the one thing is, just going back to what your point was, is that they are definitely supposed to keep records of all their imports and their wood sourcing and stuff like that. So we'll find out. We will find out eventually, because they will be massively fined and done um, in European courts. So yeah, I'm sure we would find out lots of information about it. Usually stuff like that happens very quickly. So but again, it's something we probably need to dig into, find out about. So, and I think we've said that before. I don't think I'm the dude to do it though, because um yeah, just those aren't the kind of videos that I make, or that do well when I make them. So the investigative stuff. So we'll see. But listen, I'm not saying you're wrong, Rob. Just is it just an alternative possibility? Um, Marcia says, Michael Blaney, seems that way. We have a very diverse beverage of choice thing happening here. Everyone from hard stuff to coffee. I don't think anyone here has a coconut flavored aloe drink. Maybe next week. Health Kick Dave coming back with a bang. Number one says, Bing Bong, hello. Bing Bong, indeed, sir. Thanks for joining us. Always great to have you in the chat with us. Matt Van Bosch says, definitely plenty of deals around the moment. Just seen UK Peach Guitars have discounted a fairly new PRS SE CE24 standard to £399. A lot of guitar for the money, if that is your kind of thing. Yeah, man, it's nice. It's a nice guitar. It's just something about the finish puts me off. But definitely a cool price for it, man. Kirkley's Guitar School, which, by the way, before I read out the comments, very cool guitar channel, guys. You should definitely check out Kirkley's Guitar School. Very cool lessons on there for various songs and stuff like that I really dig. I like his videos. Check him out. Give him a subscribe, and make sure you are learning some new songs. We use a little 3/4 P bass copy at the studio for £85. Can't get over how good value for money they are. At a price point a new student can afford, and that's a pretty killer reason right there to pick up Hardy Bentons or whatever, because yeah, a guitar for that price used to be absolute trash, and now a lot of the time they're really good. So we're living in a golden age, really, for cheap guitars, which is great for us and for the young folks coming through. Um, yeah, I wish though maybe they were as good when I was like 12 years of age. So, anyways, let's see. We have a whole buttload of comments coming back in. Whose comments did I just read out? It was Kirkley's. There you go. Yeah, give Kirkley's Guitar School a follow, guys. He's really good guitar lessons. Breaks everything down really well. Yeah, I've got a couple of them saved that I'm going back to in the next couple of weeks. But very cool stuff. And glad. Thanks for joining us, man. Great to have you on the chat. Michael Blaney says, anyone tried the new Guild Polara yet? I haven't, because I've heard mixed reviews, but that's just because I follow everybody. Some people liked it, some people didn't. I don't know. It looks cool. Looks like a interesting take on an SG. Say, Scott says, what is goldfish food and why shouldn't it go someone else's pizza? That's probably the wrong channel for that question, but I would say if you want to, then just do it. But again, not financial advice. Number one says, I have the Kim Tile Polara, if that's what you're asking about. And that's what I just instantly think of. Glenn Bailey says, so I know Youngblood is controversial, but what do you think of the Epiphone Signature SG Junior single pickup for $5.99? That's what we're trying to figure out, Glenn. I don't know. I think I think anything that sells SGs is good, because I love SGs. Pretty much probably my main opinion on it, to be honest. And they should have made it in Pale and Blue. So That's just that's not just my opinion. That's a fact. The sent one says, "DMAC, I have two strats, very different to be honest, but both really playable, both way better than what I experienced with Squires in the 90s. To be honest, um, you had to spend a good chunk of change to get a decent guitar, or put a lot of work into it. And most beginners have no clue about the how to set up a guitar. How they don't know a guitar needs to be set up. They don't know how that any work needs to be done. I certainly didn't, um, and I'm sure a lot of people are the same. However, it's very cool now that like a lot of guitars come out of the box ready to play or quite close to ready to play. Some people will just take them out of the box and play them anyway. But yeah, some of them are really good out of the box, and that's amazing for a budget guitar. Um, Let me see, what else have we got? Marcia says, Glenn, you probably missed my comment above about it when someone else brought it up. Yeah, it's unfortunate you missed that comment. Yes, I'm a dudette, but it didn't rhyme. I'm glad we can still say dudette, and that's it's, back in the day, used to say that to all the young dudettes. Um, I still say it, but I just get funny looks now. Glenn Bailey says, I just got here and I did miss it. How dare you, Glenn? And that was at 10:17. Interestingly, the comment before you is from T that says 22:18. So there's some time difference vibes going on there. It's all good. It's all good. Thanks for letting me know the time, guys. I appreciate you popping that in for me. Yeah, it's a good bit behind. Awesome. Mer says, no, Dave, didn't really talk about it yet because he's behind. Was that the Youngblood guitar? I think we've talked a lot about it now. I missed it, Dave. Which beer tonight? Beer tonight is Hop House 13, which is it's the last of my current crop, but it could be refreshed, of course. Um, but yeah, it's my go. Once I buy it, like, I'll buy a box of them. So there's usually a good few in the fridge set aside for the old live streams. So that's what it is. Last one for now. I might get adventurous next week. We'll see. Get a Heineken or something. No, I never drink Heineken. But yes, the Hop House 13, which is a Guinness product, by the way, just if anyone's curious. It's quite nice. And yeah, I'll drink Hop House 13 anywhere I go. I went to Australia with my pals, and when I was friends who are from Australia, so I flew out there to hang out with them for just over a week, and we saw ads for Hop House 13 all over Australia and in magazines and stuff like that over there, different publications. But they did not actually have it in any bars that we went to. We went to over 100 bars because we were on a crazy adventure. There you go. It's all good stuff. Someday the stories of that adventure will come out. Thanks, Rob. Thanks for asking. Number one says, Michael Blaney, for sure, it's a very comfortable and beautiful guitar, but the pickups are a little weak. Would be just fine for simple overdriven tones, but I can't get much of a high gain sound. As much information as you need, I think. DMAX says to the sent one, I hear you. Quality of new stuff is phenomenal compared to years ago. It really is. It really, really is. The one that amazes me the most is a Harley Benton. It's sitting over there right now because I'm thinking about making a video with it. But it's the Harley Benton TE60, T52, I think it is, the Telecaster one. It's in a nice blue shade, and it was like 89 euros, which is phenomenally cheap. I bought it with the ST62, and both of those guitars, really, really good guitars, didn't come up to the price needed for free shipping from Thomann, which is 199 euros to Ireland. So I think between those two guitars, it cost me like 189 euros, something like that, 188 euros. So I had to buy like a cable or something, or some strings or whatever to get the free shipping, which cost like 15 euros. So anyways, I mean, that was 3-4 years ago now, but it just goes to show how actually great The guitar is. It's 89 euros and it was out of the box really playable, very good, felt really nice, and is a lovely guitar. That was never the case when I was a young guitar player. You'd pick up an $89 guitar and it was nine times out of 10 going to be super heavy, terrible action, pickups are trash. Nowadays you can I'm not going to say because I don't, but like it wouldn't take a whole lot of work to gig that guitar. It's a really really good guitar. Um, I've used it as my desk guitar when I was working for Squarespace a lot because yeah, because I could. So, yeah, for like a I was there. I was with them for like 2 years, and that was my desk guitar until I swapped it out for my Fender Squire 40th um, anniversary Sherwood Green thing, which is still a very nice guitar. And I had my SG swapping it out from time to time, but mostly that one because I could just bash it around. It's 89 quid. Who cares? But anyways, we won't get into that argument for right now. Number one says you'd be tickled with it then. Certainly a very nice guitar. To Michael. And Glenn says I was trying to get him on guitar topic. Me, I don't care what we talk about. GH be damned. All right, Glenn. Let's cool the jets on the GH. We're trying to pivot away from that particular Steel Panther reference, aren't we? Maybe not. Formula Known as T says a Gary Moore SG up for sale as well. Yeah, there's a lot of there's in the same sale. There's going to be a lot of interesting guitars, I believe. So we'll be finding out. Mars says, by the way, on the price, I'm confused. They're saying it's a guitar gateway for young people. Why would young people need a hard shell case? I think it should have been no case or gig bag at the most. Um, are you saying young people don't need hard shell cases? I mean, I don't know. I always wanted a guitar that came in a hard shell case. It was like an aspirational thing. And then when I got one, I was like, oh, okay. Take the guitar out of the case, slide it under the bed. Fine. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's a cheaper guitar. They can charge more money if they put the case in it. Yeah, it's probably a $400 guitar, and they put it in the case so they can charge 600 for it. But yeah, interesting, interesting. Maybe a gig bag would have been as good as I think every Epiphone should now come in a gig bag. The 345 came in a gig bag, and their gig bags are really nice. They're not as good as the PRS ones, but they're still nice. Um, Anyways, Scott Bogwood says, I think the real argument to be made, but maybe the government of Ireland should buy it for his hometown. That has been postulated upon, and the Taoiseach, uh, who is like he's like the next down from the Taoiseach, who's the Prime Minister, um, has said that he will be discussing the matter with the Department of Arts and I want to say Arts and Finance. That's not Arts and Tourism. I think is the department. I don't know why that slipped my mind because I do pay attention to Irish politics, but yeah, it's Arts and Tourism, right? T. But anyways, yeah, the Taoiseach said he'd speak to them and discuss the possibility. Uh, it it's very likely there will be an election, a general election, in the next year. So they don't want to be seen to do stupid things. I think that'd be a great thing. I think a lot of people would buy it. But then it's a government asset. Then it becomes something that is and isn't on display, and people freak out and go crazy and stuff like that. So I don't know. It would probably cause a lot of consternation if they did, but also then the Irish government get brought into a bidding war for a guitar, and people who don't give a shit about guitars or Rory Gallagher or Cork, for example, which is most people who don't live in Cork, um, they will be up in arms. So yeah, risky move from the government, but I think it's an iconic thing that should be owned, perhaps. It should be kept in the country, whatever way. It's a lot. There's a lot to get into with it, but I think the romanticism of the story of Sheena Crowley buying it, having raised money to then gift it to the people of Cork, I think is a phenomenal thing considering her father sold a guitar to Rory in the first place and set up a special financing deal for him, which it wasn't kind of as prevalent as it is today to buy stuff on credit in the way that it was done. Obviously, there was people bought stuff on credit, cars and things like that, and couches and stuff. But it was very much an informal thing, not so much the way it's done nowadays. But anyways, we'll find out what happens in October. I hope whoever buys it just does keep it in the country. If they want to keep it at my house, I'm very happy for that to happen, and I will let 3 people a day smell the guitar. So there you go. Get on it. Mar says you can get a non-signature version that doesn't have anything special about it for less or same lower end Green Day guitar. I don't think there is an SG Junior on the market right now from Epiphone. Is there? Anyways, formerly known as T says Rob, another legend gone. I saw Eric talk about him on the YouTubes. He sounded like a cool guy. Talking about Rick Mile, or not Rick Mile, John Mile. Yeah, yeah. Eric Clapton's video, I saw that was very, very heartfelt. That he turned his life around and all that sort of stuff. Very interesting stuff. Yeah, one of the good ones, John Mile. But 90 is a good old age, man. It's a good old age for a rocker. So yeah, fair play to him, and wish him well, of course. Yeah, another one bites the dust, unfortunately. I think there's a lot of our heroes are coming to the end of their lives, unfortunately. So we will probably get more and more of these messages each week, each month, each year. Um, it's sad, but hey, it's because they were so great way back, when they were young, and now they're old. So, but let's think of positive things instead. And also, the great thing about it is we'll always have their music. So, and a lot of time it's very, very cool. Let me see. We've got Glenn Bailey says Slash turns 60 this week. He's not going to be attracting any young people to Les Pauls anymore. Yeah, Slash's birthday was this week. Also, I don't know if you know, but his stepdaughter passed away. So he's cancelled some gigs on the Serpent tour. The world is effed up, man, and people are going through a lot of stuff. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people would say Slash should never have made 60, considering how he was in the 80s and 90s with the old, heroin and stuff. But I'm glad he's still around. I think he's making some great music still with the Conspirators, and I like this blues album, Orgy of the Damned. I think it's really good. Um, but yeah, unfortunately, going through a sad loss himself. So, best wishes to Slash out there as well, because that's a tough thing to go through. I'm sure. But yes, I'm sure he wasn't celebrating too much his 60th birthday. But it's all good. But yeah, good for calling him out. We should all wish Slash a happy 60th birthday, and you know he may not be attracting young people to Les Pauls. But wait till he brings out his SG, his Flying V, his he's brought out a 335 already this year. He's got a lot of other models to bring people to. Um, so yeah, you never know. Marcia says, I heard snippets. He tours with Avril Lavigne. If that gives you any idea of his music style for Youngblood, interesting. Yeah, I'm not interested. For me, music peaked in 1987. So. That's all I will say about that. If you know, you know. Um, Rob F says we lost John Mayall 90 this week. Also, Thursday's the 4th anniversary of Peter Green passing. So much good music associated with the Blues Breakers. Yeah, very much so indeed. Um, very much. So sad for the passing and the memory of Peter Green as well. Todd Moore says, hello all, hello Dave. I'm not a fan of the young blood or whatever his name is, but any SG is cool. Pretty much my feelings on it, Todd. Glad to have you with us, my friend. But yeah, absolutely. I think I think it's good that it's an SG signature. It might get people talking about SGs a bit more. But you could play me one of his songs. I'd be like, what's this? I would have no idea. Mar says, no, meaning the Billy Joe signature. I get you. Rob says, other than the headstock and more expensive parts, what do you think is the difference between Epis and high-end Epis? Significantly higher end pickups. Custom bookers are $500 a set, so that's a massive difference. Higher quality of woods in terms of what comes in. They're sorting them a bit better, like, and the better quality stuff is going into the more expensive ones. And I believe each guitar. So again, I can't confirm this. I don't know it for sure until Cesar comes on the show and confirms this for us. So what I believe is that there's a certain time limit that each person on the factory floor has to work on a guitar. Now, obviously, all the body shaping and cutting and stuff, that's all done on CNC, so they should all essentially be the same. But all of the prep, all of the kind of setup and stuff like that of the guitars, you have a certain time frame to get those done on the standard Epiphone guitars. On the higher end ones, you get a bit more time. So, in theory, those guitars should be better out of the box than the bog standard Epiphones. And a lot of bog standard Epiphones are coming out of the box pretty good these days. So, it should essentially, they have more time to double check things, to triple check things, and to make sure that the guitars are top quality coming out of the factory. They'll still miss things. But I think the major thing, Rob, honestly, is the pickups and the electronics are better quality. They're the big things. And then the headstock shape, which, as I've said before, for me is not a big deal. I like both of those Epiphone headstocks. If I picked up a guitar that had the Gibson headstock and it was an Epiphone, I would be fine with it. I'm also perfectly fine with the Kalamazoo headstock. I think that's a really cool one and I like it. And I think it's way more historically correct than the other Epiphone headstock that they left behind in 2019 too. So, so yeah, pretty much that's what I think it is. I'm happy to be corrected there as well. So we will, leave it. If anyone else knows anymore, that'd be great. D Mac says John Mayall and the Blues Breakers Beano album is a classic record. Everyone talks about Clapton, but it was also pre-Fleetwood Mac, John McVie on the record too. I mean, overall, it's a very good record. Yeah, absolutely. There's everyone involved. It was awesome. Wilson Jones says, hi Dave, I have a famous Irish guitarist guitar made by a famous Irish luthier. It is Philip Donnelly's All Black Nashville Danville Telly, made by Derek Nelson. He made a Telly and a Strat too for you too. Very cool, Wilson. Thanks so much for joining us and let us know about that. That's an amazing guitar to have. Yeah, I'm sure you cherish that. That sounds very cool. If you want to share it with us, we do have a Facebook group. The link is in the description below, and I'm sure Scott will throw it in here if he doesn't mind. We have a Facebook group. You can, if you're on Facebook, you can join up, chat with some of the dudes from the chat here, and some who aren't on the live stream because they're busy and stuff. And you can share some pictures and stuff like that of the guitar if you want to. Sounds very cool one. But yeah, anyone can join. Anyone can talk about guitars and have fun. And yeah, most of the time, it's a good vibe. It's a good vibe over there. Marcia says there are two Epiphone versions, more budget friendly without a case and a slightly lesser specs with a better SG Junior case. For the Youngblood, I thought that was just for the Billy Joe. Again, as I said, I haven't really looked into it as much. Scott Bogler says, I think the Youngblood SG Junior is as cool as the JJ Olympia, the Joan Jett, right? The Joan Jett is way cooler. Because I know her music. So there you go. Who else have we got here? DMAX says, cool. I only seen the case one. DMAX says, KDH made a video on guitar stores closing in downtown Dublin. Yeah, I'm not surprised. A lot of retail stores in Dublin are closing down because rents are ridiculously high. But I haven't seen his video, so I can't really comment on it. I've spotted the thumbnail in the last couple of days, so I will eventually get to watch it, but I haven't seen it yet, and I don't travel to Dublin too often, a couple hours away from Dublin. So in fact, I cannot tell you the last time. I can. The last time I was in Dublin, I went to see Slash, and I drove to the hotel, and I walked down the street to the venue. I walked back up the street to the hotel. I got in the car and I left. the next morning. Not a big fan of Dublin, to be quite honest with you. I'm a country boy. It's all good. I prefer it's my small town. Um, where we have a big traditional Irish music festival coming next week called Flaciol na Heron, which is it's a good time. There's it's a basically week long music, live traditional music everywhere around the town, and gigs and all sorts of things happening. So it's going to be pretty cool. I'm sure there'll be lots of footage I can link to next week and stuff, or maybe the week after because it kicks off next weekend. But yeah, some cool stuff happening around here next in the next couple of weeks. We'll see how we get on with it. Uh, but I'll have a look at KDH's video and I'll see. There was a guitar shop in Dublin called Watson's. I think I'm remembering correctly. Is it Watson's? It was something. Yeah, pretty sure it was Watson's. And that's where I used to go and hang out on Saturday afternoons, Saturday mornings and Saturday afternoons when I lived closer to Dublin. But I thought that'd been closed for a long time, so I don't know. But anyways, yeah, it's too far away for me to check out. Marsh says Scott Bogfoot gets down with OPP. Yeah, you know me. That sentence knows you're hipper than us. Okay. Michael Blaine says, Dave, what do you think of the Sterling Saint Vincent? I like it, but I don't think I could pull it off. Uh, it's a nice guitar. I mean, I'm pretty sure. Um, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to be like an icon at some point. But yeah, I like it. I think it's an interesting take, and it's a good design from design point of view. Oh, I mean that's all I can say on that really for now. But yeah, nice guitar. Um, Rob says sad video DMAC and sad time all over. I haven't seen it, so I don't know. What I will say is I know in Dublin in particular, particularly in the streets where, so Grafton Street used to be the most expensive retail space in the world. Uh, at one point in like maybe the late 90s, early 2000s, um, in Dublin. And I don't think the rents or anything up around that area have come down. There was a lot of guitar stores in that area. So I presume that those rents were pretty high, even though they're on side streets and stuff. So yeah, it's quite possible that some of those stores have closed and are moving out. I think the guitar business, honestly, guitar retail business is gonna have to pivot to a whole new thing at this point. We've never had like way like in a lot of places in the States like guitar centers or in like what we call retail parks and um, industrial parks and stuff where you got big kind of showrooms. And a lot of, well, in my experience, guitar stores have been quite small, and um, yeah, they need to evolve into a bigger thing. Couches and coffee and stuff like that need to be incorporated into it a lot more. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, look, I'm not getting into that business. I don't know if it's a good one at the minute, but definitely there will be a change, I think, in the market to get it back on top again. But guitars ain't going anywhere, so people have to get them somewhere, and they can't all buy them from Sweetwater and Musician's Friend and Toman and Anderton's and places like that. Todd says, got some Guinness Extra Stout pouring here as I prep the grill with a nice big T-bone steak. Both of those things are awesome. So enjoy, sir. uh, yeah, sounds great. Madman Bosch says, Dave, good point on the now two-tier Epiphone range. A separate sub-brand would have been better, clear way of differentiating between the standard and higher end ranges. Thanks, Matt. Yeah, that's exactly it. I think there's a lot of people who will be confused. Why is this Les Paul 1200 or 1300 and this one 600? Like, that's twice the price. What's the difference? They're both Epiphones. And it's not clear if you're a beginner or maybe even like someone who's in the hobby for like a year, who might be wanting to upgrade their guitar a little bit or whatever. So it's just the way it is. um Listen, they obviously will have looked into it and decided that making these guitars Epiphones was still the best idea. And I'm just some silly YouTuber who gets up their nose a little bit, but I think it would have been a cool idea to have Orville as, say, I like Orville or whatever they would have called it. I would like to see a revival of Orville, to be quite honest. I think it's a cool brand. But anyway, foreshadowing for the future, possibly. Glenn Bailey says, "Hey Dave, my friend Susan flew out to Ireland today, so if you see her, say hi. She will be the touristy person that looks like they associate with me." Well, thankfully, Glenn, I do not frequent the kind of places where people who look like they would associate with you would hang out. But if I see somebody who looks like a Susan, I'll say hello. Yeah, absolutely. I hope she has a great time. And as I said, one of the big events in the next week or two is Flat Kill the Heron, which is happening here in Wexford, and maybe she'll be floating around my town and I will see her. So who knows? That would be a fun story. Marcia T says, Billy's wasn't an SG, of course. It's just the exact white black look, is what I mean. It isn't original. I've seen others making the same association. It doesn't even have a unique inlay. Yeah, I wasn't sure, honestly, when you said that it was the same. I was like, is it an SG? It could be. And I like Green Day. It was one of the bands I was kind of mad into when I was in the latter end of my teenage years. I was like, yeah, Green Day are cool. However, I do remember a teacher in school asking us, should she let her son go to see Green Day in concert? And I was like, seriously? He wants to go see Green Day? Like, what's wrong with this kid? Um, yeah. And now I have seen Green Day more than once. So there you go. I guess I'm that kid. Uh, Scott says, Dave, you need to make some custom emojis. I have custom emojis. You need to be a member on the channel to use them. I think they've been uploaded. They should. I think I can use them. Let me see. Um, yes, there are 3 chord Dave emojis. Here they all are. There you go. There are others which I don't think have been uploaded yet, but I have them on my computer somewhere. But those are the three chord or 4 3 chord Dave emojis. Feel free to be a member and use them. Um, there you go. Number 1 says, DMAC, I watched that one. The flip side of that was this week on Know Your Gear. Phil feels that they're just going through a change in delivery systems with more of the online stores. Rob says, to number 1, I think Phil is correct. He usually is. Richard Clark says, yeah, what Scott said, I will revoke my own membership. You've got them. Richard, you can use all 4 of those lovely emojis if you want. I'm sure there'll be more in time. Marcia says, at that point for kids, they're better off buying a cheaper non-signature SG. If you want a white one, I bet it can be found. Or spray paint project. Kids love art projects. Toman have a very similar SG Junior style guitar in white, by the way. A Harley Benton one. Just saying, I think it's like $120 or something. But yeah, you're right. I don't know. Look, maybe Youngblood is going to be the one who brings the SG Junior to the masses. I don't know, but I think it's very much something that that we could have. Yeah, no signature model. Just brought out that model. If they brought that out and it was 600 quid, I don't think anyone would pay it. But I could be wrong. I have been once before. Glenn Bailey says, stores closing is becoming more common. I sent Dave a Melody Music sticker a few years ago. Been in business since 1970. Closed last year. It's just the times we live in. You did, Glenn. Thank you so much. And I still have those stickers. They are here. No, that's a different thing altogether. They're up there somewhere. Or are they over there? Nah, they're here somewhere. But yeah, I saw them recently, and I must send you back some stuff. Actually, I have some stuff that I wanted to send you, and I just never get around to it. Sorry, I gotta get around to it at some point. Mark says, I was at the first 3 chord Dave live. Of course, I knew you were. Yourself and Todd Moore, I know, are definite first timers, and have been here mostly ever since, which is great. So yeah, cheers to 130 shows together. Scott Bogwood says it almost needs a bikini plaque because the neck and headstock are so plain. Yeah, maybe. I think they keep that for special editions, special occasions nowadays. But yeah, it wouldn't be too bad. Wouldn't be too bad. I think essentially they've tried to recreate his Gibson SG Junior, right? Though, which is, I mean, it's fair enough. Rob F says, just Googled it. The Youngblood Epi is a pretty cool looking guitar. Yeah, well, it's an SG. It's going to look cool no matter what you do. Number one says, I agreed with it too. These older store owners are just all reaching retirement age. Personally, I don't mind buying online and finding exactly what I want every time. Um, I remember Melody Music as a kid. I don't know. They're a franchise. Um, in terms of that good, in terms of shopping online, and this is from my own perspective because I live in a part of the world where I've told you the guitar store that's nearest to me, which is like honestly, it's a 10-minute walk from me. Every time I've gone in, I've been very unimpressed with number one, their prices are way too high. Number two, they don't never have anything good in there. No, I haven't been in years, but I tried to go in last Wednesday and they were closed at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So to me, that is quite annoying, and I don't really feel like there's a guitar store near me, and I don't usually go to Dublin, and I don't. The nearest city to me is Waterford, which I don't go to for shopping purposes very often. There is a couple of guitar stores down there, but yeah, basically leaves me with shopping online. Great thing. Another, when we talked about EU regulations and rules, there are rules about buying stuff online where if you buy something online, you have to be able to return it, and there's a 45-day return um, policy where you can't even be charged for shipping for returns. It's an EU directive that if you buy something in the EU, you online, they ship it to you, and you don't like it, you can return it, and they have to pay for shipping, and you get your full refund. So those kind of regulations are cool, and I appreciate them. They really help out consumers. So, and that's why I have no problem ever buying stuff online because I can send it back if I don't like it. However, I did have an issue with a company in the UK post Brexit, which has made me very reluctant to buy anything from the UK, where they were like, we're not in the EU anymore. We don't have to follow those rules. So basically, screw you, Irish guy. I was like, all right, well, I'll just never buy from you again. They were like, we don't care. I was like, all right. And a particular product, it wasn't a guitar product. The item I bought was something that I would buy on a semi-regular basis, probably a few $100 a year. And now it goes to a different company than them. And if like 1,000 people who were making the same level of purchases that I did just decided not to shop with that business anymore, and they would lose lots and lots of money. So, uh, so yeah, don't be that company, um, British company, because now I'll just shop with other people, and I have since then. That's happened about a year and a half ago, and and I haven't bought that product from a UK based company, having previously only bought them from UK based companies up till that point. Brexit has been a pain in the ass. Anyways, rolling on. Number one says, agreed with the two. These older stores. I read that one out already, didn't I? Yes. See, chat's hard to get through. Um, Rob F says there's a used guitar amp store near me. It seems to be doing well. That's good to hear. But yes, more guitar inspiration is important. It just seems like getting very little for too much as a potential first guitar. Um, again, bear in mind what we used to get for beginners guitars. Awful, awful stuff. Descend one says, you inspired me to watch Rory this week, Dave. All the best bringing it back to Cork. Hendrix was a fan of Rory. Enough said. Is their signature Strat by Fender? Next campaign, if not, maybe. Yeah, the Fender do custom shop Rory Gallagher Strats, and hopefully they'll do a made in Mexico one for under $2,000 soon. Glad you checked out Rory. Rory is a very cool artist. Like if you like guitar players, you like the blues, you like rock, or blues rock. I think you'll dig him. I don't. It doesn't matter who you are. And I've seen people, a lot of these React videos, and people are blown away watching Rory, which is great to see. I'm a big fan, obviously, as you guys know. Um, yeah, there's actually a funny story. A few years ago, um, I was walking with my lady down the local town, and there was a busker. It was a dude who was like traveling around busking, and he was from London, I think. And I was wearing Rory Gallagher t-shirt, and he stopped mid song as we were like a good bit down the road, and was like, "Hey, you know what Jimi Hendrix said when he was asked who's the best guitarist in the world?" And because I had the Rory t-shirt, I was like, "Yeah," he said, "Ask Rory Gallagher," which is apparently true. But he also said that very same thing about Billy Gibbons. So. Uh, Billy Gibbons is more famous than Rory, which is fine. Both are great, but yeah, honestly, check out Rory's live stuff. He's incredible. Um, Big fan, and I'd love to see his guitar come back to Ireland, his actual one. But hey, there's other guitars too in that auction from Rory as well. Like, hopefully his Melody Maker will be up and it won't go for that much money. Anyways, it's all good. But thanks. I'm glad you checked it out, Simplin. Mark, good stuff. Avo says Gilman makes quality guitars for cheap, own factory in China. Very good. Yeah, I mean, hey, there is some good, very good guitars come out of China. That's got to be said. And bear in mind, like the reason why we have such good beginner level budget guitars these days is all guitars pretty much are made on CNC machines. So they make them, they fix them up, they make sure they're right, and then they fix the CNC programming, and then they just run off hundreds, if not thousands, of the exact same guitar, exact same dimensions, exact same cut. They're all exactly the same, and they do that like in a week, run off hundreds of them. So that's why guitars are better. There's very little handmade material when it comes to necks and uh, bodies, and then it's just making sure it's all put together and set up properly. So it's a lot easier nowadays to make better guitars at lower prices. It's a golden age, and it's only going to get better. Mar says, Rob F, it does look cool because because it rips off the look of Billy Joe guitar instead of the original. I wish it would come with more than a Youngblood sticker, like special inlays or graphics. I mean, that's true, but at the same time, Epiphone doesn't do case candy very well, and it doesn't do special stuff, especially on lower. I mean, for $600, they're not going to try too hard. Their big selling point is it's a signature guitar for 600 quid, and that's what they're getting at. Scott Bugman says, when a rainbow ends at a dumpster, just take a peek. That's a good idea. Michael Watson says, I hope you're doing well, Dave. I'm doing all right, Michael. Thanks so much. I hope you're doing well. All right, we got 5 minutes before we're supposed to end the show. So let's dig in to what was it? Speed reading mode. Scott Bogwood says, so I was in this dumpster and I found a guitar. Wait, what? What were you in the dumpster for? It didn't sound like it was a guitar store's dumpster. It didn't. I don't know. And I never understand why people are like, you know what? I'm just going to jump into some dumpsters and see what's in there. And they find, I don't know, like they find crazy things. Maybe it's time to go dumpster diving. Um, or maybe it's all set up for YouTube and Facebook. I don't know. Uh, anyways, Rob F says it's amazing. All the stuff, all the good stuff. Beautiful wife finds dumpster diving. She calls it hunting. Everything from a new coffee makers to 20 by 50 bags of dog food. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, I've never. I mean, usually when I've worked in places or seen, those dumpster style bins put out, it's full of smelly stuff that you don't want any part of. So anyway, that's just Ireland for you, maybe. No 55 Les Pauls thrown out in the trash, unfortunately. Mar says, by the way, just checked online. Billy never had a signature SG, but he has played white with black pickguard SG for years. I knew I'd seen him playing them, so I'm right about Youngblood ripping off Green Day. I don't think he specifically did. He has an SG Junior that's like an old, I think it's a 64. Am I right in that? I don't know. He has an old SG Junior. I think he bought it in Norm's Rare Guitars. I think they have a video of him trying the guitar and then buying it. And then he, obviously, that's his signature guitar now. So there you go. Michael Blaney says, Duff McKagan. Yes, indeed. Duff McKagan is the super duper bass player. He's my favorite. He's one of my heroes. musically. I think he's just the dude. Todd Moore with the $10 super chat, my friend. Thank you so much. That is super cool of you, and I appreciate it so much. Thank you, sir. I see no comments, but if you want to pop one in there, I will be sure to read it out by the end of the show. And let me see what else we have here. I see loads of photos of him playing the same looking guitar. Search Billy Joe Armstrong and white SG guitar. Tons of pics dating back from years. Billy's well known for playing lots of cheap guitars. And he also owns a guitar store called Broken Guitars. Is it Broken Guitars or Oakland Guitars? I think one of those two shops is owned by Billy Joe, or was at one point. Anyways, I think he's cool. Duff could never play, could play every position in a band: drums, keys, vocals. Yeah, absolutely. And he plays guitar with his solo band, and I don't think it's called Loaded anymore. I don't think he's in the band Loaded anymore, but they were a cool band that he was in. Made a couple of good records. Let me see. Guitar Max did an April Fool's video, says DMAC, dumpster diving behind a guitar center in LA. Guitar Max is pretty cool. I like his channel too. Another one you should definitely be supporting. Scott says, I'm using the chat to train for guitar auction snipering. Best of luck, sir. Please be fine. Please be fine. Please be kind. This may not rhyme, so hit the like button, people. Thanks, Glenn. Love you, man. All good. Number one with a super chat, following up Todd for the $10. Thank you, sir. No comment there either, but I'll make sure to read out your comments. Thank you so much. It means a lot to me. Super cool of you guys. Thank you so much. Yeah. Not to get on it too much, but the old super chats do help make the live streams feel like time well spent, even more so than chatting to you guys, which is always fun too. Marshall Murray says drinking more always works well. Not going to argue with you, but as I mentioned, I'm against the clock, so sláinte. I guess we got to do a quick sláinte. Michael says you'll need an assistant. Oh, hang on. Are we talking about? Am I way back with the guitar? 1042. Yeah, I only got to there. Jesus. All right, maybe I'll stick around and read as much as I can. I don't want to leave anyone out. Dave will just get a beer bong to do inverted keg stands. Indeed. So, all right, let's try. And I didn't realize I was so far behind, guys. This is what I mean. This is where the channel gets a little bit, it's too good for its own, or too big for its own good. Reading through all the live stream chats, I apparently have only got halfway through the show and the comments in the show. So now I'm going to have to try and wrap up because we finish at 11:30 nowadays. So I'm going to try and run through just trying to make sure if I see everybody that I've read out at least one comment from everybody, and then we can wrap up. And I've gone way past where I was. So yeah, it's happening. We're way past. Dave Lewis is here. Good evening, Dave and folks. I'm a bit late. You're all good, Dave. I was way behind myself, so it's all good. But yeah, thanks for joining us. Benny Larson's here. Great to see you, Benny. Hope you are well, my friend. Dave Lewis says, I've been playing my Epiphone Youngblood P90 SG today. It arrived yesterday. Very cool, man. Hot topic in the chat, actually. Lots of people talking about it. So I'm glad you're enjoying it. The Emax says, can anyone recommend a lower price, e.g. less than 150 compressor pedal with a blend control? I hope somebody answered that for you, my friend, because I don't have an idea. Let me see. We can't leave everyone out. Severe Band says, hey Dave, great to see you, Severe Band. Hope you're doing well. And let me see. At the tone, the time will be 10:48 Irish time. Do you know where your SG is? No. Actually, I do. It's in the next room. Thanks, Glenn. Yeah. Oh, can't believe I'm so far behind. God damn it. Cheers. Not everyone. Cheers, everyone. It's really good fun guitar to play. Notice they are down to $4.99 already in UK and from Cologne in Germany. That's very interesting. Scott says, Dave, did you get one? Get the one with the case. Get the what with the case? But no, only two of my guitars have ever come with a case. Hang on. My current guitars, only one has come with a case, and that was my 1982 Flying V. Everything else comes with a gig bag or a premium gig bag. Michael Blaine says, I learned a lot of setup from Dave's World of Fun Stuff. Yeah, Dave's World of Fun Stuff is a very cool channel. I enjoy his videos. I've watching them for years before I even thought about doing my own YouTube guitar stuff. And yeah, definitely an excellent channel to follow. Let me see then who we got. Richard Clark. Glenn, we had a time and temperature number from a bank when I was a kid. It still works and I still know the number. There you go. Dave Lewis has got mine from Anderton's the next day delivery and used up some loyalty points. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, loyalty points is the way to go if you can. I did send Dave some pictures of it this morning. Oh, very cool, Dave. Yeah, I think that's the one that the email I was referencing earlier um, in the show. But yeah, very cool stuff indeed. Looks good. Let me see. Where are we now? When the guitar falls off your bike, you need a case. Yeah, for sure. um, I'm saying, Marcia says, I'm saying a better starter guitar without a case makes sense. Better playing or sounding guitar will lead kids to stick with playing. Parents also don't want to shell out more than a few hundred. Yeah, that's a good point actually. Yeah, a case is an extra cost, but you also got to have somewhere to put your guitar. Uh, but yeah, I back in the day I used to have a like my first guitar I think came with a gig bag, so there we go. And then I bought a case for it and never put it in it because it was too heavy. 2,300 hours. Thanks for another good stream, Dave. Thanks, Glenn, for the time references. Keeps me. Now I know how far behind. um, but anyways, let's make sure I get everybody in at least once, and we'll wrap up for now. My knees hurt this year. Great to see you. My knees hurt. Hope you are doing well. Awesome to have you in the chat with us. Scott Bogwood says Epiphone's pride is the light switch, the mass-produced stuff. In recent years, stuff like the Muses and Uptowns are just regular guitars. No pride gone into them. Had one, in my opinion, actually do. You know what? I think those are all pretty decent guitars. Like the Muse collections are not bad. Like they're either one of the Les Paul ones, and it wasn't bad. I just didn't feel it was the right one for me. I'm not a super huge Les Paul guy. That's why. But interesting enough, I think there's a few Les Pauls in my future. Like I probably will end up with at least one by the end of the year. Dave Lewis says I got an Epiphone Joan Jett, and that's also a great fun guitar to play. Well, Joan Jett is one of the coolest, so I'm a big fan. I Love Rock and Roll was the #1 song when I was born, so was meant to be. Rob F says to Scott Bug, I have zero QC complaints with my Epi LP50's standard purchase last fall. Mind you, I did upgrade the pickups and replace the tuning machines and the bridges, and the bridge and tailpiece with the Graph Tech goodies. Yeah, absolutely. They are way better QC wise than they used to be, and a lot of good ones are coming out with very little that needs to be done with them. That is absolutely true, but at the same time, there is still a few slipping through the cracks, but for the most part, Epiphones are very good quality these days. Michael Blaney says Chicago Music Exchange is a store to see over here. Yeah, it's on the bucket list someday. I've never had a need to go to Chicago. I've been in O'Hare Airport on a layover. That's about it. Someday, maybe I'll go see a Bulls game someday because I've been a big basketball fan. Well, more so when I was a kid, but yeah, definitely would love to do that at some point. So maybe at some point I'll go. Maybe we'll do a 3-Chord Dave live event or meetup, or like 4 of us will go to a bar and have some Coca-Colas. So there we go. T says, Rico Dave, you should record some of the street entertainment. Some here might have never seen or heard of the Flat Hill. Yeah, if I can. I'm actually pretty busy the week it's on, so I don't know how much I'm actually going to get downtown. But if I do, I will try and just film a little bit of the footage, yeah, because it is a very interesting cultural thing here. Glenn Bay says Amazon is starting to take a cut of the guitar market and YouTube is driving it. Yeah, us YouTubers, we are evil. Well, some of the other ones are evil. Not me, I'm good. Nella is here. Great to see you. Nella says that's a shame to Dave Lewis. Marsh says my knees hurt. I have a click taste, but my heart is mostly filled with metal and rock of all sorts. Indeed, that's the way to go. Let me see what else we got. Again, I'm trying to make sure I get everyone. If I do miss you, I apologize. I'm trying to skip through as much as I can because there were so many comments that I was way behind. Ryan Byrne is here. Great to see you, Ryan. I hope you're doing well, my friend. Thank you so much for dropping in. Dave Lewis says, I saw Rory lots of times in nice personal venues in the 70s. He was amazing live. Yeah, my dad had seen Rory a lot in the 70s in particular, and that's what got me into listening to Rory. He was like, oh, this is Rory Gallagher one night, and I was like, whoa, this is cool. And then, yeah, next thing you knew, just diving into his entire catalog, and you can some great videos of Rory playing live online, which is amazing. YouTube is 20 years old soon, says Advo. Yeah, I wonder will they help their creators, smaller creators, I should say. Probably not, but hey, we can all dream. Rob F says, thank you, Dave. Thank you, everyone, for a very enjoyable chat. Thank you, Rob. You're always a super cool part of the chat, and appreciate you driving the conversation as you do quite a lot of the times. Thank you, sir. Todd Moore says, in honor of 130 live chats, my first super chat. Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate it. Yeah, you were one of the first. In fact, this is actually live stream 131. Todd actually joined my first ever test of the live stream equipment, and it was literally camera pointed at a chair. I don't know if you remember, Todd, but I remember you commenting on that. So it's super cool, sir. Thank you so much for hanging around this long. There we go. I think we have almost everybody in the chat. Number one says, I was inspired by Todd. Thank you, sir. Larry D. Fox says, bye. As in buy? Is it buy? What are we buying? Thanks, Larry. Hope you're doing well, man. Glenn says, thank you for the stream, Dave. Enjoyable as always. Thank you, Glenn. Appreciate you, man. Marge says, Dave is always hilarious when he really realizes how far behind he is. Maybe Dave needs a better platform. Have you tried Streamlabs or OBS? Or no comment, dumps. I am currently on OBS. I've been using it for at least 75 streams, and they do have comment dumps. Let me tell you. It comes directly from YouTube, so yes, it's just the way it goes. But yeah, I've the last podcast episode with Mike from Upstairs to the Right was done on Streamlabs, not Streamlabs, the other one, StreamYard. Anyways, I may try and use a different one. This one just works for me because it's OBS. It works it's very straightforward. But yeah, what I need to do is just fire through the old chat sometimes. And waffle on, talk less, just read. I'll get through it. Anyways, yeah, we're 10 minutes over, but it's fine. I don't mind too much. I don't have too much to do, just like 4 hours work before it is Sunday. Colin the Guitaristas has a Youngblood on order from Gibson, so we can look forward to that review soon. Very cool. Yeah, I haven't been on the TV channel this week, so I did not know that. But if Colin says it's coming, that's cool. Colin is as much an SG admirer as I am. I think we've very much bonded over our love of SGs, so that's very cool. And let me see what else we've got. Who else have I got? Everyone at least once, I think so. Yeah. All right. Cool. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. It has been cool to do this live stream with you, as it is each and every week. Thank you so much for joining, for driving the chat. I'll have to try and keep a better eye on it for next week, because we do have just so much. Anyways, last week we barely made it. This week I only got like actually halfway through without having to then rush through the rest. So it's up and down. It's up and down. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me. Thanks for chatting about guitars and things. You guys are the coolest. And again, just to point out, just to say it back one more time, I know that some of you guys jumped in to defend me in the comment section of the Rory Gallagher video. Not that there was ever anything really to defend, but I appreciate you guys being there and doing that. Not just on that video, but many others. I've seen you do it and just correct people when they jump to false assumptions. So thank you so much for that. I love you guys. I love that you keep coming back. Thanks to the super chatters. You guys are awesome. I'll be back with another guitar related video very soon. But until then, take care.